So over the decades, the scientific community has established a series of standards for what makes a quality assessment. And so these standards fall into two basic categories. There's reliability and validity. So reliability refers to, is the tool stable over time? And so, I always use the example of a bathroom scale. And so if I get on that bathroom scale today and it says that I weigh 175 pounds, and then I get on that bathroom scale 2 weeks from now and it says I weigh 200 pounds, right? That's not a reliable assessment. That's not a reliable measurement. And so with our assessment tools, we want to make sure if someone's taking it today, they're going to get pretty, similar results. If they come up with a D style today, they're going to come up with, most people are going to come up with a D style 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 6 months from now, because we're measuring qualities that don't change. All right, so that's reliability. Validity, on the other hand, is a question of, are we measuring what we actually propose to measure? And so let's go back to that example of the bathroom scale. Is if I get on the bathroom scale today and it says I weigh 80 pounds, and then I get on it 2 weeks from now and it says I weigh 80 pounds, that's a reliable assessment, right? It's consistent, but it's not valid. I haven't weighed 80 pounds since I was 14 years old. And so a valid assessment is an assessment that's actually measuring what you propose to measure. And this one is actually a lot trickier to assess. It's a lot more time consuming. I think there's a lot of tools in our industry that don't spend the time and the money and the effort to really do a robust job of trying to get that kind of information that they need to make sure and have, document the evidence that their assessment is actually measuring what it proposes to measure. So the process of creating an assessment and also validating that assessment, there's a number of different ways that you can do it, but usually it involves gathering data. And one of the cool things about our organization is that because we have, about 1 million people taking one of our assessments every year, we can ask those people research questions, and in the space of a couple of days, we can get a couple of thousand responses to an item or a question and make sure that it's actually performing and behaving the way we want it to. But to really kind of create a new assessment, part of the process for that is that you need to not only give them your assessment, your proposed assessment, but you also need to give them other established assessments that are in the field. And so you're asking people for an hour and a half of their time, and again, that's really costly, and it's there's a lot of logistics that go into arranging that. So I think there's a lot of organizations and a lot of publishers in our industry to just kind of skip that step because they figure people aren't going to care about it. And so the process of actually doing that is we kind of typically will pay people. That initial step will pay about 1,000 people to take the assessment and to take these other established assessments in the field, and so that we can gather information on not only our tool, but how our tool correlates with other assessments to make sure that we're on the right track, to make sure that we're actually measuring what we propose to measure. And so there's that part of the process, which is gathering information on our tool and other tools in the industry, but then when you get the data back, there's a whole bunch of analyses that go into figuring out, is that tool reliable? Do the items that we propose to measure, like a construct like, for instance, dominance, if we have 20 items that are being used to measure that construct, do all those items correlate with each other the way we propose, the way the theory suggests they would? And when we kind of create that scale, that dominant scale, does that correlate with other measures of dominance in the industry? And so the process of validation, there's some really kind of established methods that are used, but you also have kind of used some creativity to tailor your validation to the specific constructs that you're measuring as well.